Adding and subtracting decimals. So we all know how to add and subtract even multi-digit numbers. So sometimes adding a decimal point might throw some people off. So here is the easy way to add and subtract numbers with decimals. So first we're going to do a problem over here. 9 plus 7 plus 9 plus 7 plus 9.3 plus 9.45. So normally what we would do when we add, we line up our place values. When we have decimals, we have to make sure those decimal points are lined up. So I'm going to write them vertically, lining up all of the decimals. 9 7/10, 9 7/10, 9 3/10, 9 45 100ths. Okay, so you see how my ones are all lined up, my decimal points, my tenths place. And now here I have one number that has an extra digit, extra place value in the hundredths place. So what I'm going to do, a lot of people like to do this just to keep things straight, is we add those placeholder zeros. That sometimes helps people see that there's the place value. So now we can add in a column 0 plus 0 plus 0 plus 5. There's our 5. 7 plus 7 plus 3 plus 4. When we do that, we get 21. So there's the 1, carry the 2. We're going to make sure that decimal point gets carried down. That's very, very important. We carry the decimal point down to the answer. And now we have 2 plus 9 plus 9 plus 9 plus 9. And that is 38. So our answer, 38 15 100ths. Now we may have problems like this about evaluating an expression for a variable, and the variable is given a value. So here we have 9 67/100ths minus x. I am going to evaluate this expression for different values of x. And they're done just a little bit different. Each one is the same concept, but we have to do a little different thing to each of them. So first, I have 9 67/100ths. I'm subtracting x. So I am going to subtract this number. I'm going to right away write them vertically. And I am going to keep the decimal points lined up. Now, this is just a 3-digit minus a 3-digit number. So I have 7 minus 2 is 5. 6 minus 5 is 1. I am carrying my decimal point down. 9 minus 1 is 8. That one is pretty simple. 8 15 hundredths. I'm going to do the same problem, but I'm going to substitute a different value of x. So I have 9 67/100ths, and I'm going to subtract 3 8/10ths, making sure that our decimal point is lined up. Okay. So here we have a number that goes out to the hundredths place and one that only goes out to the tenths place. What I would do is put that placeholder 0 in there to make sure everything lines up. So now we can do our subtraction. 7 minus 0 is 7. 6 minus 8, we can't do. No matter if there's a decimal point in there, now we are still going to borrow and add a 10 to our top number. So I'm going to borrow from this 9, make that an 8, and it now makes it a 16. Some of you may just put the 1 next to the 6, that's fine. Others may cross out the 6 and make it a 16. Either way is fine with me. I personally like to do the 1, I make that's just my preference. So now I have 16 minus 8 is 8. I carry my decimal point down. 8 minus 3 is 5. So my answer is 5 87/100. The only difference between these two problems was that I added this placeholder 0. And finally, I'm going to substitute 1 1,000 in for x. So I have 9 67/100 minus 1 and 1,000. I'm going to write this so that I line up my decimal points. And I'll write my 0, 0, 1. So now look what we have. We have 2 digits after the decimal place and then 3. Like this is sticking out all by itself. We are going to add that placeholder 0 right there. So now we have 3 digits after the decimal, 3 digits after the decimal. 0 minus 1 we can't do, so we have to borrow. Make that a 6, makes that a 10. 10 minus 1 is 9. 6 minus 0 is 6. 6 minus 0 is 6. I carry my decimal point down. 9 minus 1 is 8. So my answer is 8 and 669 thousandths. And that is how you add and subtract numbers using decimal.